Welcome to Yin Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. So we've just passed the summer solstice, and I looked up what that is significant of spiritually. And so it said a time of rebirth and connection with nature. So that kind of makes sense to me, right? This period of like growth outside in nature, everything like the flowers are, of course, they came up in the spring, but, just sort of metaphorically, like all the flowers are growing and blooming. And it is a time when we tend to get out a little bit more into nature. So just thinking about what your summer is, like I don't have any real plans. So I know some people really have their summer vacations planned out. They've got, all this going on. And even if you have that planned, is there some little spiritual intention for yourself in this time period? So maybe it's more like I'm just beginning to think about like the things that I actually want to do this summer, assuming that it's not blazing hot for the entire summer. But just things like connecting with friends and family, and just a time for me to, it's my happiest time of year, so I'm really trying to embrace that. So is there something for yourself, some little intention that you have for the next few months of this summer season? So just taking a moment to ponder what do you want your summer to look like and to feel like. Just see what comes to you. And so if you're getting some kind of picture, so planting some kind of visual imagery, maybe it's more sensation. So I went to the beach a couple of days ago, and the next day it's like I could still smell the ocean and I could still feel the soft sand on my feet. So there may be some little physical sensations attached to what you're thinking about. Maybe you're thinking about eating good food or hiking in the woods or something like that. Like, what are those physical sensations in there? See if you can hold that in your body. And then we're going to slide it into a little bit of Nadi Shodhana, a little breathing, alternate nostril breathing. But we're going to do a heart bench if you have 2 blocks, or just some other prop to do a supported back bend. All right, so Nadi Shodhana, we're going to close off one nostril at a time. So we're going to inhale through the left nostril, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, exhale through the left, and that makes one full round. And we're going to do it, let's see if we can do it 10 times. Okay, so you can hold your fingers any way that's comfortable for you. Some people do it traditionally with index and middle finger touching the third eye. So then you're using your thumb and your ring finger. I was taught doing it with index and middle finger folded down. You can do your thumb and your index finger. So trying to find something that's not uncomfortable for your hand, I think, is really important. All right, so we're going to try to sit comfortably. Take your thumb, close off your right nostril, take an inhale through your left. And then whichever finger you're using, we're going to close off left nostril. So we're going to exhale through the right, and then inhale through the right. And then we're going to exhale through the left. And now we're inhaling through the left. So we're going to change just before we exhale. So it's an exhale and an inhale, and then we're changing sides, an exhale and an inhale. So just trying to slow down the breath. If you get a little bit mixed up in the pattern, you lose count, whatever, that's fine. Just bringing slowly down. See if you can relax your shoulders. All right, I lost count, but I think that's about 5. We're gonna do about 5 more. All right, so moving into the last round. Next time you get to a left exhale, you're gonna let it go. And observe how that was for you in this moment. So I had this sort of mixed experience of my hand kind of cramping. I probably should have taken my glasses off and done my fingers up instead of down. But also just like this kind of really peaceful relaxation settling into my being. So the good outweighed the bad. So, you know, it can be a mixed bag. Some days it feels good, some days it doesn't feel good. And so we want to go with the flow. And you know, something's not working for you on a given day, listen to that, you know, pay attention to it, do something different. So you want to really be in the moment and find what's the body telling us it wants. All right, we're gonna come into our back bend. So you can use a rolled up towel, a rolled up blanket. You can do it across your back or along your spine. If you have like a bed pillow, so this isn't really the right shape because it's round, but if you have a bed pillow, you can bring it up so that it sits in your lower back and you can just lean back that way. If you have 2 blocks, we're gonna do one along the spine and then one, and people vary how they place their blocks. My students who like their head to tip down a little bit, they'll sometimes do that head block on the flatter side. I like to have mine supported well, so I'm going to bring mine up. And you want the block along your spine to really be between your shoulder blades. So where exactly it resides along the spine. So you might have like the bottom edge, just kind of right sort of to the bottom of your shoulder blades. Or maybe you're gonna pull yours down a little bit more so that bottom edge is a little bit more in your lower back. It's all about the feel of it. And again, if it's not a good day for this, try something smaller, something less thick. All right, so we're gonna try to get settled. And you may have to move at some point. So you may have to shift once you get in there. You may realize that you don't have your props in quite the right place. Oh, it's more intense than I expected today. So give yourself, a few breaths to see how it is. Sometimes like as you sit there for a minute, it starts to become more intense, or it can be the opposite. It can be this letting go settles in fairly quickly. I'm going to shift my block a little bit. And then your arms can be, wherever's comfortable. They can be out, they can be up overhead for a little bit. Have them in close to the body. I think for me, I typically do my feet on the floor and my knees up. But some days I might do legs straight, or today I'm not feeling like it's gonna work well to have soles of the feet together. So you might find being in a cobbler's pose works well, or not. So I'm gonna bring my knees back up. It's not feeling right for me. All right. So renewal, rebirth, whatever word you want to use. We want to let some of this old fall away. So whatever place, we're always on this, path of growth. So there's always things that we're working on, sort of growing up from. So you might imagine, like a plant coming up through the earth and growing up. And so there's going to be little bits of dirt and things that fall away as those plants come up through the earth. So just, maybe that's a visual, some kind of visual imagery for you that, we're just going to leave some things behind. We're going to let go of some of our stress, right? That's always the thing I want to move away from, is some of my stress and tension. So just having maybe some imagery of just the old falling away. Maybe it's like you're shedding a skin, a layer of an onion. Allowing the new to be revealed. And that doesn't have to be about anything specific. So maybe you really have something specific in mind, some way that you're working on changing. But it can just be that general concept of letting the old slough away. Seeing a bright and shiny new you emerging. Alright, so we're going to come off the prop. And we're going to be flat. You can have something under your head, but mostly having your spine be flat. On the floor, arms can be wherever's comfortable. So I often feel, as I do today, like I'm just kind of sinking a little bit into the earth now. And then we're going to take it into a reclining deer. So walk your feet up onto the floor. And you want some space between the feet. So feet a little bit wide. We're going to lean the knees to the right side. So your inner right leg, left leg. Where are we going? To the right. So right leg. We're leaning to the right. Right leg is not really doing much. You can have it anywhere you want. Left leg. Inner left leg is leaning towards the floor. There's still, even though my legs got lower over time, there's still a fair amount of space under the leg, between the leg and the floor. So not enough intensity, move the foot farther out. Too much intensity, bring that knee closer to the right knee. And then breathe. So again, arms can be any place you like. If you want a little support under your head, put something under there. So imagine the old washing away from this leg, this hip. A new, stronger, more relaxed leg emerging from this pose. So you can either just let your knees come up, or you can take this left leg and gently extend it out to your right side. Maybe legs up into the air. We're just bringing that left leg up and rotate the foot around. Notice how your legs feel. So I feel like that one we just stretched is longer than the other one. And we're going to take it to the other side. So with the feet wide, we're going to let the knees, right, when you find like the right stretch at the right moment, it's a happy thing. Okay, so hopefully you're finding these to be not too unpleasant, I think is what I should say. All right, so now we're focusing on right leg. We're dropping the legs to the left, focusing on the right leg, moving it to any place that feels okay. So again, just allow this stress and tension to flow out of this right leg. A new, stronger, more relaxed leg emerging from this pose. Okay, and then we're gonna straighten out the right leg. So again, this can be just kind of any way that feels right. Just let that leg unravel, unwind. All right. How are you? You're relaxing. We're gonna pull the knees in gently. And then we're gonna come up into a seated position. Let's do feet out wide. So if these, yeah, I may need to blanket myself today. If these wide leg forward folds are really difficult, if it's really difficult to lean forward, just propping yourself up again on a blanket or a towel. Are usually my preferred props. So just something to give your sits bones a little elevation. It'll help you to tip forward a little more easily. So if your legs are tight, I feel like my legs are really tight. You might also want something underneath your arms, so you're not quite so deep. So we're just trying to find a reasonably comfortable spacing for the feet. They don't have to be as wide as they can go. So that may not be comfortable. And then just see how this goes. So for me these days, props not feeling the greatest either. I'm gonna try to take this out and just support my arms. Yeah, that seems better. So same thing can happen in any pose, right? We can have this sense of letting go fairly quickly, or we can start to pretty quickly feel like the body's tightening up and resisting. So when you feel that sense of tightening up and resisting, you want to either come all the way out of the pose or back up, adjust. Our minds get so focused on doing some particular thing that we decided we were going to do. And that's not, that doesn't always end up being what's best for us. So try to listen to what the body has to say here. And so you might imagine new roots beginning to flow out from your feet. So in this growth, in this renewal process, you can imagine new roots growing, finding new ways to ground and stabilize ourselves and to absorb nutrients from the earth. So you might use that as a visualization, just as though, whatever's happening in your life, that there's these new roots forming that will help to sustain your growth, to give you some stability, some nourishment. And imagine those roots reaching deep down into the earth. Feeling the support of the earth flowing up through your roots into your body. So absorbing energy for the journey forward. All right, we're gonna come up from here. Whew. And we're gonna flip onto the abdomen so we can do a half frog. All right. Come out onto the belly. All right, and then we're just gonna slide the right knee up to about hip height so that inner leg is facing the floor. You can rest on your lower arms or you can be a little bit flatter. Just see how you're feeling here. So maybe allowing yourself just to imagine how you'd like to grow, how you'd like to feel as you grow. So what are the changes that you're working towards? And what does that feel like and look like? So we don't always know. So sometimes it's good just to entertain how we want to feel. So in whatever endeavor is next, how would that feel in the body? gonna change sides. So straighten out that right leg, bring the left knee up to about hip height, and then settle back in. We're gonna straighten out that leg. We're gonna roll right onto our backs. Take it into a reclining twist. So your reclining twist, you might just stack knees on top of one another. So let's take knees to the right. You can do arms out at about shoulder height, but the back arm, you want to really pay attention to how that shoulder is. If you want a little deeper twist, then you're gonna cross your left knee over your right and then lay your legs drop over to the right side. So I've got this little pillow, this little blanket under my head. Might want a little head support. And then we're gonna breathe. Pull into your back. See how you feel. And then we'll take it to the other side. So each side may be a little different. So maybe you're just going to stack knees on this side even if you have them crossed with the other side. So play with it, see what happens here. So taking the legs over to the left. from there. Come on back to the middle. So Shavasana is next, just resting. So if you feel like you need to pull your knees in or do a happy baby, do that. I think I'm just gonna take a minute here. And so then Shavasana, the most important thing is just that you're comfortable. So wherever that is today, if you're more comfortable on your side or on your abdomen, do side. Let yourself, maybe prop your legs up. Get comfy. deep breath. Notice how you are. A little bit of movement you want to do, feet, toes, fingers, wrists. A little stretching. And then if you're coming up, come on up into a seated position. Then we're going to bring hands to the heart or let them rest on your legs. Take a nice full inhale. And exhale it out. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. Hope you have a wonderful summer. Namaste.